Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. And welcome to the show, everybody. I got to tell you, I am so excited. I've been looking forward to this moment in time for a while now. Our guest today, she is a coach. She is a speaker. She is really a wonderful human being. And I just love her to pieces. And she was on the show a long time ago when we were not getting much of anything. And she... And she came on several times, and we just had one of those connections. And then over time, she's busy and we're busy, and I don't have a chance. But then I reached out to her, and she said, "What? Who are you again?" And no, she said, "We'd love."
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
And she said, "I'd love to be back on the show." So here she are right there. By the way, I got to ask you, has that the first time you've seen that opening?
Yes. And do you know how hard I laughed when I think it was like the first sentence you did in that deep voice? And then you were like, "That's me." So I was like, "Oh, okay. His voice is a lot more friendly." And then you're like, "And that's me."
Well, you know, I, I have to laugh. I have had somebody tell me, did you ever see Toy Story?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I think it was the hippopotamus, and they said, "You sound like the hippopotamus when I talk like that." Or one of the
Oh, the
characters.
dinosaur.
Dinosaur, that's it.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think they have a hippo.
No, but yeah, no, it was a dinosaur and stuff. So I'm so glad that you are here. What you been doing with yourself?
Ooh, I have been busy. I moved, which was really exciting. And I've been doing a lot more speaking engagements. A lot more speaking engagements.
And where did you move to?
I'm in the same city. So I'm like literally 10 minutes down the road. So it wasn't, so still San Diego County. But actually, I'll just give you the scoop real quick. I broke up with my partner. So then I moved out
Oh,
and I got my own place and it is awesome.
I got I got to tell you, there is something to be said for having your own place. If you don't feel like doing the dishes tonight, nobody's gonna yell at you. Nobody tells you to take out the garbage. You do all the things that you get to do for yourself. And that means if you feel like sitting down and reading a book and not paying attention to somebody or having a conversation, that's perfectly fine.
It's it's so nice. I decorated it all. It is so stinking cute. Yeah, it's great.
And I have two sons. One of them lives here, and the other one is in the Air Force, and he's in London. And one of them came because I've been here for 5 years, and my walls are empty because that's just not who I am. I'm not one that'll go put up pictures and reminisce about stuff and all that kind of stuff. So he came and he put up a bunch of pictures and stuff. I got to say, it
Oh,
looks much better
nice.
now. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
more homey.
more homey, and there are pictures. He did a long time ago. He did a what is it when you have a frame and there's a bunch of pictures in it, like
Oh,
photos.
I know what you
I,
mean,
for-
but I don't know.
I forget
I know
what you
what you
call it.
mean, but I don't know the name.
And in any event, so it's great to have your own place. You can do with it what you like. As a matter of fact, I even bought, because I'd never had one, and when years and years and years ago, long before you were even a thought, I used to go to to a bar when Asteroids was brand new. And Asteroids is a video game. If you don't know.
Oh, okay. I was like, asteroids have been around for a long time. Okay.
And when I turned 21, like 1981, I would go to a bar and they had a whole rack of asteroids. So when I got this place that was mine and nobody was going to live with me and nobody was going to bother me, I bought one of those
No one's gonna
stand-up
bother me.
games and it's got 3,000 games in it and all that kind of stuff. So it's one of those things where when you live alone, you get to do what it is that you want to do when you want to do it, and it works out just fine. And
Totally.
and this gentleman, hello, brother Kevin and sister Annie, greetings from the slums in Kenya, watching you live. That
Awesome.
is, and he's become a favorite person on the show because he shows up all the time. And so anyway, but I'm excited to know because you're a coach and you're a teacher and you help people live their best life and do all of those things and because you're a life coach. But tell me about this speaking thing. What's that all about?
Oh my gosh. That is my passion. That is, I mean, I love my one-on-one clients. You've heard me talk about them. I love them. They're great. But there's nothing like presenting to more than one person and teaching them. It's just so much fun. And I'm a ham, so I ham it up there, and I do it in person and video. But I'm just loving it. I just love it. I have slides, and then I'll go off track with my own stories.
Well, what kind of things do you talk about?
So usually the hot topics are goal setting in general, right? Because that's literally my job, and time and stress management, and then confidence building. So at the end of the day, I talk about a lot of different topics, but those are the ones that I would say people are most interested in, or I hate to say need the most, but want the most. I'll actually use that word.
And they choose to come and hear you speak because that's what they want.
Exactly.
And isn't it amazing? Now, first of all, I got to ask you because I've been a speaker and I've been on stage. And hold on, nah, it's a president. I'll talk to him later. And it's actually not the president. I don't think I'd take his call anyway. But besides the point, when people are looking at you and you're like, I was a cub master and I had we
Cool.
started with 3 kids and we ended up with 75 kids and several hundred parents, and they would all show up to the pack meetings. And so you're in front of all these people and then you say something funny or you say something heartfelt, and people get, because of your energy and the person you are, it becomes very endearing to them, and you can see the smiles on their face, the thoughts going through their mind, all of that. I can't think of anything more precious than that.
Oh my gosh. Right. Right. And I know I'm not there for myself and I'm there for them, but there's nothing like it. I'm like, this feels great.
It feels great to us, but it also means that we are giving folks positivity in a bigger. As a matter of fact, you're going to get me excited about going out and doing some speaking. Um, I think it'd be okay. But you know, you doing it, how did you decide? What was it your thought process behind? Okay, I'm a coach. I talk about values and life and taking care of yourself and each other and doing all the things that you talk about when you're coaching people. What decided you to take that step? Because
Mhm.
as you know, that's a pretty big step right there.
Yeah, I think it was, I realized I was talking about a lot of the same things over and over. And this was from like kiddos and teens to my oldest client being 84 years old. Like there was just themes throughout, um, male and female, or unidentified, right? Or non binary. I don't want to just say male and female, but they're across all cultures, across all ages, that I was like, you know what? We're all humans experiencing the same thing. And one on one is fantastic. I love to hear the stories. I'm all about learning everything about them. But then you can only serve one person an hour, essentially, unless you do group coaching, but still. So when you can do public speaking, almost the number is limitless, especially virtually. Like sometimes in a room, I'm in a room of 100 plus, and that's awesome. Like I speak to people in India, in Singapore, in Australia, and it would be a lot harder to get on a plane, right? Especially because of my schedule. But I literally just need a computer and internet access.
Well, and I can tell you this today, you are talking to Kenya and
Oh,
Australia and all over the world because, and what I love about you and have always loved about you is the energy that you bring, the natural positivity that you have, the natural smile that you bring to the world. It is the
thank you.
you're not gonna get your head through the door, but it's all true because when you have the opportunity, when you are that way and you've got this positive energy flow about them, people sense it. They
And I've
sense
been
it.
told that. They're like, I feel your energy. I literally like how I feel around you. And that's the ultimate compliment, too.
It is because what you are doing is you are just being yourself, but you are doing it at a higher level, a higher energetic level and a higher vibrational level than a lot of people because you've gotten rid of the hate, division, and fear and all the negativity and all that stuff, which tends to drag people down. So when
Yeah.
you get rid of that and control it, which we're going to talk about. But when you can control
Okay.
all of that, you can rise to a level that then your energy infects. I don't know if infects is the right word, but um,
I like
it's
it.
as, it's as
Gets
close as I
into.
can come to because people see you as who you are, and then they see, oh, I want to talk to her. That's how
Mhm.
come your coaching is successful because you have people that are telling other people
Yeah.
who are telling other people. But when you're doing it in a group setting like that, and you can affect so many people in a positive way, it's I can't think of anything better.
Thank you. I can't think of anything better either. I love it. It brings me so much joy. And I just keep it real. I mean, you've talked to me before. I, I'm just like, hey, we're all in this together.
Exactly. And I knew that the first time that we met and you were on the show, and I was saying, and I don't know, I think I told you after the show, I said, you have got to come back.
This is hilarious. I don't know if it was after the first time we met or another show. Oh my gosh. You were describing me. Okay. And you were like, how I would describe you is sunshine and chaos.
Hey, that's pretty smart.
I was like, this is probably the best way to describe me. You're right. Like, you're so right. Obviously, I'm still laughing today. So yeah, that was the ultimate compliment too.
But you know, those two qualities translates to public speaking so well
Yeah.
because one of the things that people tell me that when I get a word that they've listened to the show, one gal said,
Mm.
I listen because you never know what that guy's gonna say.
Right. Keep you on your
And
toes. Yeah.
yeah, and so it becomes really, really, and even though when you're doing public speaking, well, okay, let me ask you, how much is scripted and how much just comes to you in the moment?
Oh my gosh. I guess it starts off scripted, but even after the slide one, after the intro slide, we're all in for a roller coaster because I really don't know what's going to come out. And reading the room, like for example, if I notice everyone's a certain age or there happens to be like more males and females are equal, or I hear there's a lot of parents in the audience, then I know to use more examples like that.
Yep. Yeah, well, reading the room is important, but also now, how many have you done digitally and virtually, and how many have you done live in a room?
Oh, I would say maybe at like 15 live, maybe 20, and online at least 30, maybe more.
Holy mackerel! How long you been doing this?
Yeah, for the last 5 years, and two of them was excuse me, and this was during the pandemic too. Like in the beginning, usually about was the pandemic, so in person was, or excuse me, yeah, well, in person was harder, so I was doing it a lot of virtual, and that's not
So
including podcast.
so tell me,
Yeah.
what was it like when you were backstage the first time and you looked out, you peeked out, which everybody does. You have to. You peeked out and to look how many people were there and stuff. And then they say, and now, ladies and gentlemen, it's Annie Delre, and she's right here, and she's gonna entertain you, she's gonna teach you stuff. What was going through your stomach and your heart and your
Oh,
mind? And, and did
well,
you throw up?
well, actually, a lot of them, it wasn't exactly a stage. It was like a women's networking event. So like the tables were out and I was essentially already mingling and then getting up. So I guess that would be a little different than walking behind an actual stage. But I was jazzed. I was like, let's do this, people. I'm ready for anything. I was so excited to be there. So excited. I was like, yeah, I felt like it was a dream come true to be able to do it.
Now,
Yeah.
have you ever taken like acting classes or that what is that speaking course that they
Oh,
um uh,
Toastmasters?
Toastmasters or
Oh.
anything like that?
No, in middle school I did the play, but aside from that, I just was winging it.
And you do realize how special of a talent that is.
Well, I work with a lot of clients on their confidence behind public speaking and anxiety around public speaking, and I realize like what a gift it is to be excited to do it.
And plus the fact that if you're teaching people how to be a public speaker and you suck,
It's
it's not going to be very good for business. We're talking with
right.
Annie Delre, and I need to take a break. By the way, have you ever thought about being a real estate agent?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were asking the crowd. I was like, I don't know if there's real estate. No, I don't like sales.
Yeah, well, there's a gentleman that we're going to play this now, and he's got a company. And if you want to be in real estate, if you think you want to be in real estate, if you're trying to be in real estate, but you cannot sell a thing and you can't get any listings and you're starving to death, listen to this because he can help.
You became a real estate agent for freedom, success, and real momentum. So why are you still stuck waiting for closings to save you? I'm Ophir Adar, founder of Real Momentum, and I help agents like you become seven-figure earners. My first client that I coached, brand new agent, made $250,000 back in 2006. What's the secret? You feed your white wolf. That's the part of you that's bold and unstoppable and a closer and able to build rapport quickly. So click Get Listings at Real Momentum and let's unleash your real estate potential.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. And she went away and then she came back. And Annie Delre is our guest. And by the way, I love the expression "feed your white wolf." Do you know that story?
Okay, I was literally just going to ask you about that because I love it too.
And it's an old Indian proverb. And the chief and the elder was sitting there, and two kids came up and said, "How do I know which, there's a good side of me and there's a bad side of me, and there's, some darkness." And he said, oh yes, that you have two. You have a white wolf and you have a dark wolf. And he said, well, how do I know which one I'm going to follow? And he said, which one are you going to feed? And if you feed your dark
So,
wolf, you're going to get more darkness and negativity. If you feed your white wolf, those are the things that are going to lift you up and create the person that you are designed to be. And so Afar does that beautifully, and that's part of his work. And so the white wolf is a really good thing. Oh, by the way, you're welcome to
uh,
use that if you want to.
I love that. It reminds me of the quote, "It takes just as much energy to have faith than it does fear." It's like, well, what are you
Yes.
feeding? Your faith or your fear? It takes the same energy. So what are you gonna do?
And not only that, when you're feeding your fear, there are residual effects that not only affect you, but they affect other people around you and everybody that you meet, because that's the energy that you're putting out.
Yeah.
When you're projecting positivity and not fear and faith, then you can project something positive. And even if people say, well, that's not the kind of faith I want, but it gives them the opportunity to discover themselves and their own faith.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was saying. Like faith does faith means faith in yourself. It doesn't even have to be a higher being. Believing in a
Yes.
higher being, I think, helps, but
But it's it's nice now. You live alone, I live alone, but and it's nice to have conversations with people who, okay, some people are going to say that man needs to be on medication, but
let's hear it.
it's great. It's great to have a conversation with your spirit guides, with your somebody can be walking by my house and they'll hear me go, I know I said because I'll do somebody on the other side, they're telling me what to do, and I'm saying, I know, just leave me alone. But that's we get the opportunity to decide. And isn't that
Yeah.
I got to bring this up because I have had, and it may be on the next show that I have to bring it up again, but I've had several people that, and I've wanted to talk about something called, and I know that you're aware of this, something called free will.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
what does free will mean to you?
Just being able to have the choice and recognize that and be grateful
And
for that.
not only do you know that it's a choice, but it doesn't matter which choice you make, because if you believe in it, then that's okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like the and it actually is easier to think of life like that as if it's not good or bad. It's almost your perception of it. And more importantly, don't worry about other people's perception of it.
It's none of my business what you think of me.
Yeah. Right.
And it's so cool. By the way, we're talking with Annie Delre. And if you want to go find out more about her, go to her website, which I don't have it pulled up. What's your website?
It's anniedelre.com.
Oh, that's odd.
That makes it easy. I try to
And
keep
you,
it simple.
yeah, well, and you spell Delre.
Delre.
Perfect. And Annie is a coach. She is a speaker. I'm excited to hear you speak. You're gonna have to send me a an invitation the next time that you're gonna do a Zoom or something
Okay.
that I can be part of, or at least listen in, because I think you'd be dynamic.
Thank you. I'm all over the place. I talk with my hands. I'm like, 1 second, I need to take a sip of my tea.
But do you realize how endearing that is?
I've been told. So I guess, and I like when people act like that too, on camera. I'm like, just keep it real. I don't want to listen to a robot.
I
I don't
don't
want to
know how
listen.
many times I've watched somebody on TED Talks or something like that, and you see them do the same thing. It's like you see their same hand gesture. They're doing it the same way, and they're talking the same way, and then people start falling asleep. It really is important to, well, let me ask you,
Mhm.
when you're speaking, and I know you have a kind of a prepared outline of what you're going to do, and then something comes in totally out of the blue that you've never thought of before, what do you do with that?
I just say it out loud. And sometimes I say something like, "I'm so smart," or like, "I'm a genius. I'm just gonna pat myself on the back." Like, I literally ham it up there. I'm so
Well,
proud
and
of myself.
as well you should be. As well you should be, because they are, everybody that is in your audience is vested in your success.
I guess there's
Nobody.
some haters, but you just don't, but also it's like, you're giving me all your energy though. So
Yeah.
obviously there's something about me that you can't get out of your head.
Well, and the other thing is that the haters tend to be quiet because there are more lovers than there are haters in the room.
Definitely. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the only time I get sass is when I leave like a YouTube comment. Hey, wait, are you do you use Reddit or
Very
like
little, very little.
okay. There's YouTube videos where they read the Reddit stories. So it'll be like cops of Reddit, what's the smartest criminal you've ever seen? Or lawyers, what's the most scandalous will reading you've ever heard? So sometimes I comment on them because I think I'm funny. And then people get so mad at me for saying something like sassy or just silly. And that makes me laugh. So I'm like,
Yep.
why are you getting so mad? Like, but yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, they don't do it in my presentations.
Well, no, because everybody's there for a reason.
Yeah.
How now? When you started doing the speaking part, getting gigs and speaking gigs, especially if you are gonna get paid for any of them, they're really hard to do. How did you start marketing yourself?
The paid ones, I'm still trying to break open that door. I just did a bunch of free ones because I loved it so much. But then my business coach and my speaker coach was like, you gotta stop doing that. Like, you have to start doing paid ones. Because yeah, I feel abundance. I'm so down to share what I know. But that is the transition that I have to do is start actually I just started applying for what are they called? Like summits and conferences where they are paid. So that's exciting.
And the interesting thing is you are, as a coach, there's an energy exchange between you and a single person, which is money.
Yeah.
And your energy and your expertise, and to help them live a better life. But the same thing applies to speaking. It applies to podcasting. There was a time when I said, oh no, I'm not going to do that, but now I have taken the attitude that I'm going to, and I don't charge a lot, because
Mhm.
it costs me more to do a show than I charge. But it's part of, and help me with this, because it's part of the energy exchange. Because if as an example, we put together a show like let's take, I recently did a show with a gal by the name of Annie Delre, and if you go to her website, it's anniedelre.com, and she's a beautiful human being. And so we do a show with her. It goes up on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn Live. Then it goes to the Brushwood Media. We have got stuff that we put on all our social media. I have a team that spends 2 or 3 hours putting all of that together, and to make sure that we are doing well by the guests that we have, because they're important to us. You would, and so you would not be here if I didn't love you, by the way.
Love you too. Love you too. That's why I love being here.
Because but at the same time, there are people that'll say, well, that's your choice. You can choose to spend that $300 to do the podcast, but I'm not going to pay you anything for it. And I said, so you need to explain something to me. why should I have you on the podcast if you're not going to participate with us in getting your information out and to do what we can do for you with the million of listeners that we have? And there are people that'll say, well, too bad. None of my. So those people don't deserve, nor do they need to be not only on the show, they don't need to be in my world.
Right. It's like, okay, you know how many people there are out there? Like it's fine that you're not my person. Cool. Thanks for making space for the people who are.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Because we're never going to appeal or please everybody, nor should we.
Right.
We are, personally, I'm interested in people who care for each other and who give a darn about the planet and are really interested in making the world a better place for everybody and being kind and being thoughtful and all that kind of stuff. There are people that just are not going to be that way. That's weak. That's difficult. I would much rather be angry at people because I get more of what I want. Well, one day you're going to learn.
Yeah. And if you don't, like, that's your journey. I don't want to say fired clients, but I've stopped working with clients because of their victim mentality. I'll say, like, I just don't think you're appropriate for coaching at this time. I'll help you find a therapist, or another coach, but I'm not the person for you because I don't want that in my life. And that's not coaching.
And by the way, when we need to take our halftime break, but when we come back, I gotta ask you, what's it like when you have somebody that just isn't positive with you? Do you have to take a shower after every one of those, or are you able to protect yourself and protect your energy from negative Nellies and that kind of stuff? So we're talking with Annie Delre. Go to her website, which is anniedelre.com, and she's a coach, she's a speaker. Have her speak at your event. People will laugh, people will cry, and you need to pay her a lot of money. We'll be right back. It'd be nice if I hit the right thing.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No!
Yep. And my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. That's her right over there. Yes, that really is her. Annie Delre is with us. Annie, how you doing?
Awesome.
Are you having a good time?
Yes, I am. Always.
She's for those of you that are just tuning in, I just have to tell you that I've been doing this. Well, in 2003, I did it for a long time and stuff. But there are people that I value because of the energy that they bring, and they make me feel good. And if they make me feel good, I know they're going to make you feel good because of the energy that they bring. And there are not a lot, but Annie is one of them. And she is just really is remarkable. And not only that, she's got a great smile, but she's also very smart. She's a great coach. And she's also a dynamic speaker. So you need to hire her. You hear me? Hire her.
Thank you. Give the
She's
plug. Yeah, I appreciate it.
well, but it's not a plug. You know what it is? It's the validation of who you really are and that why people need to take notice.
Thank you. Yeah.
And honestly, folks, we've never dated, well, not once in our life. I've never even met her personally yet. One of the,
Yet. One day. One day.
one day, you know what my one of my goals is to have a positive talk radio convention.
I was literally just going to ask you, would you ever do one? Yeah. That was so fun.
And to have all the people that have been on the show and others that are of the same line of thinking and doing it in a great big venue and doing it for a couple of days, that would be just remarkable.
That'd be so cool. Yeah. Especially if you had like breakout sessions.
Yes, and speaking of which,
Mhm.
since you now are an official speaker, we've also got something called Positive Connections.
Okay.
And Positive Connections is our Facebook group. And if you go to, um, quite, I have somebody who runs that for me, so I have no earthly idea how you get there. But I think Positive Connections, you can go on YouTube and search it, and it's a closed group, so it's not available to everybody. But right now we've got
Positive
200
connection.
and 220 something members of that, and so and we're going to start doing
Oh,
Zoom meetings with them and inviting guests to speak to the group, which could be interactive and stuff like that. Would you consider doing that?
of course. Put me on that list.
I think it would be great fun to have you, and there would be lots of interesting questions, and it can become a dynamic exchange of community.
That's a great. I love the word dynamic.
I can't think of any other thing that makes sense when you're getting, because I know you've been part of this, could you, and you've led them, where you get everybody in a group and there's a sense of community between all the people that are there, and they're
Yeah.
feeling each other. Like when somebody asks you a question or they want to tell you a story, and you're up there speaking, and other people are in their own mind going, God dang, that happened to me, and that, and stuff like that. And so it provides them with a belief and an understanding that we're all working at this together, and nobody's perfect, and we all have our issues, um, but we
Right.
need somebody like you.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel the same way about allowing people to realize like we're all in this together. Like for example, when I do vision board parties, especially in person, and people realize like, wow, we have similar goals, or wow, I've also been putting off my goal for a few years now, or I've never been able to say it out loud. And everyone else in the group is like, yeah, me too. And I didn't think I could dream this big, or yeah, different things like that. So it's really cool watching people connect the dots.
Oh, it really is. And you know how special it is for me. I do these 15-minute, not, I used to, you probably never experienced one because you spent a couple of years, but we do these 15-minute meetings, and we invite people to come on. And she's an author now, but she was a teacher, and she was a counselor, and she did all of these things. And she didn't even mention this part because she's an author. Her husband died, and so she was talking about grief and stuff. But she failed to bring up and mention the fact in any of that she's allergic to medication, and so she died 6 times.
So she didn't
And
want to talk about the most amazing thing ever.
exactly, and she's in the middle of writing a book about it now, but she didn't think that was, it's like, you die, you're not a cat, but you're close.
Seriously.
And but the thing was that she said every time that would happen, I would leave my body, and I was with another spirit that was with me, and they would say, nope, you got to go back. What?
Love
I don't want
that.
to go back. And I'm really happy here now. And nope, you got to go back. You're not done yet. And so that is one of the things that we all get to figure out as we live our lives is at what point are we going to be done? And if you're not done, are you doing everything within your life to make it really work for you, to live your passion, to live your dreams, to have an impact on other people that is positive and stuff like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if this is terrible to say, but maybe everyone needs, I don't even want to say a near death experience because you did experience it, but a higher power saying to you, like, you're not done yet.
Yeah.
And realizing I even have a mission here.
Why do you think it is? You're a coach. Tell me, why do you think it is that so many people devalue themselves and don't think that they have a mission here?
I mean, I would probably say a lot of them because someone told them that. Like, I think the part of childhood or just not having a support system or not having role models in order to realize that.
And people keep telling them through, like in my opening, I say you were born great. And I believe and I know that we were all born great. If you ever look at a brand new baby that's just a couple of days old, they are so damn cute unless they're not. But they're going to get better if they're not. It depends. But but they're all perfect. They're all perfect in every way. And so we get the chance to have people tell us throughout our lives, you ain't so great. You're not very smart. You're not very tall. You're not very good looking. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And
Yeah.
we don't value ourselves because, so I got to ask you, why is it that we value other people's opinions of us more than we value our own opinion of us?
I think also it's a learned behavior. Or even the
Mhm.
idea that we as humans, like, community is what's best for us and what allowed us to survive. So we valued what our parents said and we took everything as fact. And maybe your parents did give you a lot of love, but the entire world didn't give you a lot of love. Or even people didn't know to be embarrassed about something until someone told them it's embarrassing. I don't know if that's the best example.
I mean, it is so true. Let me give you another one.
Okay.
I played baseball. I was an athlete. I played baseball, football, basketball, and wrestling, and stuff. And I beat the state champion, the reigning state champion in wrestling.
Mhm.
I was an all-star from the time I was 11 years old to the time I was 16, and every year and every team I was ever on. I was an all-conference nose guard in football, and have the distinction of actually having the announcer say, tackle made by guess who, because it was like the fourth tackle in a row. So I had a good athletic career, but you know
Mhm.
what? Nobody said that about me. That was about what I did. And so therefore I did not value who I was. I valued my contribution because of the sports, but not the human being that I am. And that took years to understand who I really am and stuff. And that happens to us a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's why, like, people who identify as their job, if they were to lose their job, it's soul crushing because that's all they saw when they looked at themselves.
And thank you for bringing that up because I've said it on the show before, but my dad was the executive with Nordstrom's. He was Mr. McDonald. He every time I worked in one of the departments that he was in charge of, and when he was going to come by, everybody was scurrying around making sure the displays were just right. There was no dust. There was nothing, and all that kind of stuff. And they said, that's just my dad. But it wasn't. It was Mr. McDonald, and that was a big deal. When he retired and he was no longer Mr. McDonald, he just became Jack. And Jack had no idea who he was. And nobody bothered to
Right.
help him figure it out.
Totally. It's the same like after a divorce or after your kids grow up. You're like, I've only known that I was a mom, or I've only been seen as a dad.
Yeah.
What do I do now?
Yeah, and that is something that we have to I think isn't that part of the journey and part of the exciting part is we get to, not we have to, we get to figure it out.
Totally. I'm in that school of thought too. And
And it
it just the mindset shifted that.
yeah, and it doesn't matter if you don't get it right the first time because nothing else matters. You just got to keep trying. That's an old Metallica song, by the way. Have you ever heard that one?
Rock on. I don't know. Maybe not.
And nothing else matters is the name of the song, and that is see I get messages through music. How do you get messages from the divine?
um, Probably when there's silence or when I'm in the flow. Like for example, if I'm like drawing, that's a
Yep.
yeah, when I allow myself to relax and my brain's not on overdrive or like trying to fix anything
You're not
or
one of
something
them, are
fix
you?
anything.
That your
It's just the
brain
whole
is on
point of
overdrive
coaching.
and you're always trying to fix something.
Right.
You need to
Yeah.
and I I've said this a bunch, but you need to subscribe to the Gospel According to Paul McCartney.
What's he
Just
saying aside from being a great dresser?
let it be.
Yeah.
Because we all
Right.
spend so much time trying to figure out this and figure out that and stuff. Let it be and watch. And things will develop and then you can figure it out when you get there. And so anyway, we're talking with I love talking to you because you let me talk too. Um, Annie Delre, go to anniedelre.com. When we come back, we're going to talk about all of the stuff she does and how you can be benefited by talking to her. And she does Zoom, she does telephone, she does live in person, and she'll come and talk to your group. Of course, if you're not in the San Diego area, you got to fly her there and put her up in a hotel to get there. But that's well worth the cost. So we need to take this break, and we will be right back with Positive Talk.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at CISA.gov/secure our world. Then share them with family and friends.
And I got you going. Gotcha. Welcome back to Positive Talk. I just love that song, and that's why I play it all the time and stuff. But Annie Delre is our guest, and we need to talk about this. Tell us about your self-paced course.
Okay, so this is another one where it was like there's only so many one-on-one people I can see a day, and self-paced courses is like you have me at your fingertips and you can do it on your own time. So it's called Get It Together, a no fluff guide to take control of your life and career. A little mouthy, a little wordy there.
Not really. It says it
Okay,
all, and it's important. So
totally.
it's a self-study course.
Yes. With videos and exercises.
How long did that take you to put together?
I would say the exercises took a bit, but the videos I just recorded all in one day. Actually, I'll tell you what happened with that. My I set everything up. It was awesome. Like my external monitor or yeah, my external monitor, my Yeti mic, like it was all ready. I go to tape it and my computer goes black and it doesn't turn on. And this was after like setting up my background, setting everything up, died. And then I had to take it to the Apple store. So so when I ended up doing it the the second time, I was like, forget this. I didn't do the external monitor. I didn't do a fancy microphone. I just did it with my laptop and hoped for the best. And I was like, well, this is so me to just wing it and hope for the best.
And it worked out fine.
Yeah, it ended up looking great. Yeah, I still had the presentation. It still recorded fine.
And you got the information that you wanted to get out.
Definitely. And the videos, most of them are about 5 minutes. Like there's 12 videos, but I keep them definitely shorter than 10 minutes because if people are like me, not everyone's like me, but when I was doing market research, most people didn't want to watch 10+ minute videos. And it didn't take 10 minutes for me to teach it. Excuse me, I talked over you.
That's perfectly fine. But you're right, because I was just going to say that I would probably have more listeners if I kept this podcast to 20 minutes. However, I can't do that because the information that you bring and the energy that you have and the connection that we can make together with the audience requires more than, hi, how are you? See you later. Here's our website. And by the way, thanks for being here. Have a good day.
Thanks for being here. It's so true. Right. And to dig into topics or to explore it more. Right.
It's not possible for me to figure out who you really are as best you can describe it of yourself. Because we all think we are who we are, but we're not always who we think we are. Does that make sense? I can't believe I said that. That made no sense.
No, I get it. I surprise myself sometimes. I'm like, whoa, girl. Where did that come from?
Well, I gotta tell you, my the gal that is the co-host sometimes, and her name is Rochelle, and I taught her that because she said, well, what do I ask? And I said, I don't know. And she said, where do you get your information? And I said, I wait for it. And she says, what do you mean you wait for it? I said, it comes to me. It's based upon the discussion that we're having, and then it just shows up. And I said, try that. And she's doing that now. And there is some phenomenal things that are coming out of her face that does not resonate with her. And then she listens to it back and goes, I can't believe I said that, because it's not her. It's that the universe is conspiring with us to create something better. Like the universe is conspiring with you, whether it's individual coaching, group coaching, or speaking, because it's all the same.
It's all the same, right? You're still serving others.
Exactly. I have to ask you, have you had yet, because you will if you haven't, but I suspect you have somebody come up to you after you speak and say, Annie, I need to work with you. How do I get a hold of you?
Yeah, definitely. Do you have a business card? Do you have a website? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to give it to you.
Oh, be still my foolish heart. You're not going into a speaking gig without business cards. Tell me you're not.
Right. No, I'm not a rookie. Are you kidding me? I have the cards. Actually, I just moved them off my desk. I had them right here. I cleared my desk, though, so I didn't have distractions. So that's why I don't have my business cards right next to me right now.
Are you a little ADHD a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, I do have it diagnosed, actually.
Oh, do you really? So, but you know something, for a speaker like you are, if you open up your heart and your channels to the other side, I think it can be a benefit.
Oh, definitely. I'm like, thank you. You're keeping me like jazzed for life. Like it's exciting. I'm not bored. I'm able to have high energy. Like this is great.
And that energy that you have translates to other people. I've enjoyed this episode tremendously. And if you listen to some of my other, I know you're having a great time. But I just
looked at the time. Did it look like I rolled my eyes?
You did.
I was just looking at the time at the top left. That's so funny. No, I was like, oh, it's time already. That's literally what I was doing. I swear.
No, you don't have to. So we've got 4 minutes left, and I want you to tell us anything you'd like us to know, including how to work with you, and if you are doing a seminar or something, how many buckets of money that you need them to bring, and all that kind of stuff.
Actually, funny enough, I just did a webinar called Spring into Action, Real Life Time and Stress Management. So I haven't planned my summer seminar yet because I've just been busy and living life, and my birthday was in May, so I was taking time off. But definitely go to my website. Like, it's super easy to contact me there. You go all the way to the bottom, big contact me box. And yeah, I'd love to talk to people. And
What is it about May? Birthdays in May. My sister had a birthday in May. My grandchildren, or her grandchildren, my grandniece and nephew, were in May. John Edward. Do you know who John Edward is?
I don't think so.
He's a
Maybe I saw a
psychic
picture of
medium.
him.
Yeah, you
Oh,
know him.
okay.
Yeah, he's a psychic medium. I had him on, and he read for my sister. He didn't know it was my sister at the time. And one of the things he said was, May is very important to you because that's her birthday, that's Mother's Day, that's the grandkids and all that kind of stuff. And now we know that you were born that month, so it's even more important.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. You made it work, and stuff. So your website again is
AnnieDelre.com, and that's DELRE.
Really, really, really simple. I'm trying to think if I can ask a question that's going to stump you, but I don't think I can. So let me ask you another question.
Okay, I'll
When's
take a
the
sip
book?
of water.
Yes. When's the book coming out?
It'll actually be my second book, and probably the fall. So the first book I wrote for my sisters when they were in high school, and it was SH asterisk T. I wish I knew in high school. And then this one will have the same word, I wish I knew in my 20s, because they're in their 20s now.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
And it's amazing when you're in your early 20s something, you think you know so much until you get to be not in your early 20s anymore, and then you realize how little you actually knew.
Right. When I see people in their 20s now, especially that they're so stressed out, I'm like, you're just beginning. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, you've got 60 or 70 years left, and don't even bother with it. So, Annie Delre, I love you, and you're gonna have to come back, and we're gonna have to do this again if you don't mind. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time, and I love you, and I appreciate you giving me this time.
Well, I do it on behalf of the people who you can influence, because you are one of those who can and does. And people need to recognize that. If you have a desire, I mean, if you don't, that's fine. Live your life the way you want to, and then you get to come back and do it again. But if you really want to make a difference in this world, if you really want to be who you really are and affect all those around you, you need to have a coach. And I can't think of anybody that I endorse more than Annie. So thank you. And
Appreciate
anything else you'd like to add before we go?
I hope everyone enjoys their summer and stays safe. And honestly, I really resonate with what you say, that everyone needs a coach. And even if it's not me, find another coach. Ooh, wow. Find another coach, because we all deserve to accomplish our goals and dream bigger.
And there are too many dark spots that we can't see, and we need somebody else to sit with us and say, have you considered this? I hate that question, because now I have to consider something I never considered before. So
Right.
And thank you, Annie. Thank you so much. Annie Delre, go to anniedelre.com and have a great day, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin at kmmedia.pro.